Gits, apologies for the absence of uploads as of late, but me stupid zogging internet machine thingy's been right dodgy as of late. But with a little orky ingenuity, zogging zogger, stupid zogging zogger, forte! I think Donkey Long got sit back. So, after a zogging good turnout the last Is It Orky video, I've been thinking about what to talk about next. And, well, I've been watching a lot of Pancake Snowworks' videos in the meantime, and I know a lot of you gits who watch me videos got little to no understanding about the universe that Orcs is in. So, I thought maybe I should do something like Mr. Pancakes does with them do's and don'ts videos. But instead of talking about boring beakies or boring scrawnies, we talks about the best kids in the galaxy, the Orcs. And not just everyday kids, I mean a video that tells you runs about each and every orky thing that there is. From squeaks to stompers, I wants to do a video on everything orky in this here universe and the tabletop. But where to start? Well, I mean, I guess the best place to start is where all great orcs start. The boys. From the biggest Big Mac to the earliest pain boss, to even Gazgul, the prophet of the Great One, Gork and Moke themselves, all these kids start as a regular boy. Right, yeah. And now, one of the things that I often see from you kids asking about orcs is such as, do boys sleep? And normally, no, we don't gods to sleep. But when we's is bored and there's nothing to smash, we'll take a nap or two. But you and me kids, I know you kids gods to sleep. Like this guy over here.
Huh?
It's just like you, every day you and me kids like this flabby run over here, gods to sleep. Well, these here Elix boys told me that they'd give me some teeth if I got Umi to take one of their sleep test thingies and did have a kip on one of their mattresses.
Wait, what are we doing?
Do the sleep test!
Okay.
Now sleep!
Okay.
Now tell us how it was!
That was pretty good actually. The thing with Helix is that before you place your order, there's a sleep test that covers anything that might affect how you sleep. Age, height, weight, in what position you sleep in, the feel of the mattress you want, if you wake up with back pain, and if you sleep hot. And based on your answers, you'll get a mattress referral. And for me and my wife, well, we've been having a bit of back pain as of late due to a lack of support, so we ended up with the Helix Twilight Luxe for that firm feeling inside sleeper support. And ordering was really straightforward and easy. But the best part is that when the mattress is shipped right to your front door, free shipping in the US by the way, it's rolled up and compressed into an extremely compact box, no more than about 4 feet tall and about a foot wide, and it's surprisingly easy to lift up too. But make sure you've got a lot of room when you pull that mattress out and you open it up, cause as soon as you break that seal, that mattress is gonna start puffing up like absolute crazy. But you don't really have to do anything, you just pop it into your box springs, your frame, and you're done. And as for my wife and I in our Twilight Luxe, she took to it immediately. In fact, right now she's taking a nap in the other room with it. See, she's got bad back problems and usually needs a side pillow in order to sleep comfortably, but the first thing she said when lying on this mattress is how she may not need it anymore. And me? While this mattress really does feel firm and supportive laying on it, that Tencel top layer adds this kind of softness and cushiness to help it feel really plush despite how firm it actually is. If you need a new bed of any size for any kind of sleeper, I cannot suggest Helix enough. So if you want to take the sleep test for yourself and get a special President's Day sale of 27% off the entire freaking store just for you guys, then hit up my link in the description and get yourself a good night's rest. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here now. Thanks, Helix.
And thank you, Helix Boys, for the teeth. Now then, back to the topic at hand. Boys. Now, like I said, every git from Gazgul to Gorgaz to Gearguts to Gutsmech and even old Glitzdakka over here all started out as boys. Now, you might be thinking, well, boys is boys, there ain't too much to them, right? Well, that's where you's dead wrong. Cause there's a unique complexity to the boys, and not only in what they can do, but the rich orky culture that they comes from. So, sit down, shut your trap, and open your lungs. Now, if boys is the beginning of orcs, then the beginning of boys is Shroomz.
Oh, hey, boss.
Every orc, biggins and runts alike, is always releasing spores, right? And if you end up crumping an orc, well, I mean, unless you're using fire, well, they just release all their spores in one go. And those spores find spots in the ground in order to grow to make a new boy. In their grow hole, all the boys gets bigger and bigger until they gets too big for their grow hole, and then they come out in the most orky way possible. Boy, punching the dirt above their hole so they can crawl out. Yeah, take that, you soggy dirt. Sorry. Thus, a new boy comes to life. But Days is still just a runt. Not even a full shade of good green or dim kids yet. Not to mention, Days is lacking in proper culture of an orc clan. So at this point, the new boy is what we call a wild boy.
Green is best.
Now, wild boys will come out of their grow holes at night and run away until Days is big enough wild boys to join an orc clan. Cause if they don't run away and other orcs find them, well, they may end up on the business end of a burner barbecue. Don't look at me like that. It ain't my fault that we taste so good when crisply cooked. What do you want from me? But anyway, if a boy finds their way to a proper orc camp, and after growing a bit and learning about the camp's culture, then they become Yoofs.
Up yours.
So, Yoofs. They's got the right mindset and drive, but lacking proper orc experience, Days can be as dumb as a sack of squeaks. Understandably, Days is trying to figure out where they fit in orky society, but so me do they get in the way all this hogging time. I appreciate their ruck razar and drive to fight, but Days wants to fight everything. And it usually takes a good globbering or two for them to get the idea that they've got to watch themselves and fall into line. But after a year or so, Yoofs will figure themselves out based on whatever clan Days is mobbed up with. Some of them go off to be jetpacking store boys if Days is with the Goths or the Blood Axes, and others may tinker a bit and become spanners, especially if Days is with them loot-happy Death Skulls or got the right teeth and appreciation for Dakka to be a bad moons boy like myself. And maybe some of them kids will save up their teeth and buy a bike to join up with the evil sons. But most of the time, when a youth finally gets big enough, smart enough, and killer enough, they becomes a proper boy.
We'll make it orky.
Now, when Days first starts out, boys either become slugger boys or shooter boys. Both kind of boys is right and proper no matter what clan they belongs to. In all cases, boys will be wearing simple things. Shirt, trousers, and sturdy boots. Sometimes they'll get bits of scrap armor, but not really all the time. And boys will always find other like-minded boys to mob up with. Sometimes in groups of 10, but mobs can be as big as 30. And that's a lot of boys want nothing else to do but fight, right? So you got to keep them in line. And what do you use for that? You use a knob. Now, knobs is, what you soggy newbies call them? Sergeants? Yeah, something like that. Only unlike you homies, knobs is a lot bigger than boys. And the boys stay in line and listen to their knobs. Now, that's all what makes them the same, but what makes them different? What makes a slugger boy and a shooter boy a shooter boy? Well, firstly, slugger boys, according to most geeks, is the purest distillation of what it means to be orky. The perfect combination of chopper in one hand and slugger in the other, maintaining the perfect balance of orky crumping, stuck in smashing, and direct talker. If yours is a loser, real orc boys like myself, who actually use all sorts of brains, realize that if you got a good shooter, not only can your crump get faster as you don't got to run all the way to them to fight, but the beautiful sound of constant talker gloriously complements the yells of the war. Ain't got no chopper? Pfft, who needs it? While your little sluggers can only shoot up to a tusk length or two, shooters can crump many more tusk lengths away. And the sound of talker, that itself is enough to really get my rock resolve going. Don't bother aiming like you is a quad. That just wastes more time than you could be shooting. Cause when you got 30 shooter boys in a mob letting their talker rip, yours is definitely gonna hit something either way. Shooters is just better than choppers. And that ain't just me biased opinion, whatever that means. If choppers was so important, then why are boys named after their docker? See, these boys, they ain't called chopper boys, these is called slugger boys. And shooter boys is shooter boys, not hitting everything with the butt of me gun boys. And if choppers is better than docker, then why is it that when it comes to boys' special weapons, they only get things like rocket launchers and big shooters? You know, docker. Finally, listen to the difference between a slugger and a shooter. You think something that quad's really gonna do all that much damage? Pfft, so me. Listen, I don't make the rules, I just follow them like any sane boy does. Now, if a boy's good at fighting, gets bigger and a bit smarter, they may become stick bombers. And while they don't look any different than most boys, looks can be deceiving, cause these boys know how to pull a pin out of a stick bomb and throw it at the nearest group of gits and watching them blow this whole up. And would you look at that? That's another kind of boy that relies more on the docker-adjacent crumpet than slugger boys do. And if these boys don't end up blowing themselves up and get even more fighting under their belt and get even bigger, then they might become Ardboyz or Skarboyz. Now, what's the difference? Well, Ardboyz, as the name implies, are boys that for one reason or another are able to get themselves some proper heavy armor. Usually it's Death Skulls or Bad Moon's boys that either gets their armor easiest cause Death Skulls is so loot happy that they could loot enough scrap slabs from Yumi wagons or something, and Bad Moon boys, well, we got the teeth to bite from a neck like a proper boy should. Now I've seen a couple of Ardboyz carrying scrap shields and I just... What is this? What are you even accomplishing here? Nothing, that's what. You're just being a pansy hiding behind a shield when you could be using that arm to swing a chopper or hold a proper shooter. This right here, this ain't orky, so it don't count. Then we got the Skarboyz, and while Ardboyz is tougher cause they got heavy armor, Skarboyz is tougher cause they just eat. See, the glyph of Scar in Yumi speak means experience, and Skarboyz have seen so many good fights and got so many good scars to prove it that they's just naturally bigger, tougher, and meaner. A bit of a roundabout way of doing it all, guess, but it gets results. And naturally, you'd expect to see more Skarboyz with the Goths, cause the Goths is all about being big and dead on, and the Snakebites, because God help me, trying to convince a Snakebite kid that mega armor's a good idea is like trying to pull teeth from a squig off. So, they just ends up with lots of scars and tough muscle and skin. Now, as far as what Boyz is, that's really about it. But that's only what they is. Let's talk about what they can talk into. Let's have a look at that there data thing. First off, Boyz has got a respectable speed to their feet. 6 inches of movement. And while you ain't outrunning a speed freak, at least yours is gonna be moving faster than them bony 10 boys and stinky beakies. But what makes Orcs shine is how defensible they is. Well, the save ain't nothing great. I mean, Boyz is typically too poor to get proper armor. All Ardboyz is tough. Toughness 5. And that's just off of them stinky beakies, but Weezer's faster. Seriously, when it comes to any chopper or docker that any other Git Boyz is gonna bring, theirs is typically strength 4. Orcs being tough 5 means they's got to roll 5s in order to do any damage. Finally, 1 wound per boy is standard with leadership 7, meaning Boyz is disorganized but they ain't gonna run away too easy, and objective control too, cause Boyz is big so they can hold more ground. But let's get to the good bits, the weapons. Now, if you got slugger boys, then what makes them good is pretty obvious. You want to charge in fast, maybe give them some quick Glitzdakka, and then get stuck in with a chop. With 3 attacks, hitting on 3s and armor penetration 1, Even wagons' tanks is gonna have some issues if there are too many boys with choppers all mobbed up. But see, this is where the Skarboyz big brain comes into play here. With orcs being so big, they take up a lot of space, right? So unless they're just going after something big, there just ain't enough room for all the boys to get stuck in, right? But Skarboyz, we ain't got that problem. See, where Slugger's range is 12 inches, Shooter's is 18. And if enemy runs get within half of that, then that number of shooter shots goes from 3 to 4 with rapid fire. Yeah, I know, choppers hit on 3s and shooters hit on 5, but so me. I'd rather have 80 shots hitting on 5s than maybe 40 chopper swings hitting on 3s. And speaking of, for every 10 boys in a mob, yous can take some big shooter or a rocket launcher. Both of these guns is solid Dakka depending if you want to shoot a lot of boys or boom up a wagon. But I got to ask again, what would the point be of taking this here great Dakka if yous is only trying to get stuck in as fast as you can? Slugger boys, I swear I'll never understand them. I mean, the knob that leads the boys is absolutely more chopper than shooter, with being able to take a harder-hitting big chopper or a power claw, instead of whatever Gork's wisdom decided to make with the combi weapons. Seriously, what the zonk is this stat line? It makes no sense. And finally, let's have a look at their abilities. Get the good bits. Basically, at the beginning of every turn, if you got boys on a capture point that they own, they get to keep it even after they move away from it. That makes sense, right? Boys wants to keep moving and following the fight. Sticking around a point, scavenging and looting, that's Grunt's work. So, no worries about having to move boys away from a point. But the best thing about boys is that if you got some over 20, then you can have 2 leader bosses. But one's gotta be a war boss, which, that's fine. War bosses is tough, killing, and makes boys even more killing. Pair that up with a weird boy doing the jump everywhere on the map, and you're looking at a good time for the boys. And lastly, but absolutely not leastly, always make sure that your boys got good transportation. Battle wagons is good, but if you want cheap, tough, dependable vehicles to get your boys around, there ain't nothing better than a good old truck. At tough 8 and 10 wounds, it's gonna take a lot of concentrated fire to bring down a truck. And at 12 movement, your boys is gonna be moving almost twice as fast as if they were foot slogging it. And I think that's about it, really. And yeah, thinking that boys is basic without too much to talk about, look at how long this soaking video is. See, that's the thing about orcs. Every git is always saying that we's is basic. Just get stuck in and do nothing else. But there's a hidden nuance to all things orky. And hopefully in time, I'll be able to show you kids even more of said nuances of every orc unit. But for now, thanks to the Helix boys for sponsoring this video with their teeth, and a big thanks to all the boys, knobs, and bosses for giving their teeth to us so we can keep making these videos. I've actually been wondering if I should have bigger and better rewards for the boys that wants to give even more teeth, so keep out an eye for things like that. Maybe like early videos or exclusive posts, things like that. We'll see. But as always, you get sub up and sub off. Cold as could be Titus. Fight me!